Hey guys, this is Shin again from the Pendit, and today I'm in HSB wearing the same clothes because same recording time, and I'll be going over the PenBBS 350. Now, before I start, if I sneeze, I'm sorry, it's kind of dusty in this room, and I don't want to record the video maybe 20 times, okay? This is like the 5th time I'm doing it. Okay, let's just go with the pen. I'm going to go do a brief overview, and then I'm going to go from top to bottom, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'm going to do a rank sample. Cool? Alrighty. It's a Cartridge Converter pen that has a standard number 6 size nib. The PenBBS nib that does come on this is sort of Fude, but not exactly. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, please correct me. I think there's something like a video comment. If you can like say Fude, I have no idea how you say that. Just cringes me. But if you can say that and put it in the comment, that'd be great. The nib isn't the best, and you'll see that in the rank sample, but this pen overall is brilliant. The cap is octagonal shape and it slightly flares out. On the top of it, of the finial, there's a stamp of PenBBS 350. Then it transitions off into the octagonal shape that flares out slightly, on one of which it says PenBBS. Now, I would have liked it if it didn't say PenBBS over here at all, just to maintain the minimalistic design, but it's okay. It's not that intrusive, especially on these, or maybe even the black one, or the, actually all of them are matte. You wouldn't notice it as much. Right below the cap, there is a small double step down. The first step down is to a circular section, on the cap itself. And that transitions to another step down that goes onto the barrel. Now the barrel it's simple. It tapers down slightly, and I think it's flat on one side. Okay, it's almost flat on one side. The bottom, well, almost flat on the bottom, so I'm sorry. The bottom doesn't have any embellishment on it. There's no stamp or anything. There's no finial of any sort. The cap screws off, and it posts pretty securely. Now, I don't want to post this because the threads on the cap are plastic and the threads over here are brass. And if you post it, it gets pretty heavy, so I'm just going to leave the cap right there. The threads on the barrel itself are pretty non-intrusive. They're thin, you don't feel them as much. Right above that, you see the section. Now, the section is pretty good. It's metal, it's slightly hard. I would have liked a softer metal on this, but it's pretty good. It just flares out a little bit and then tapers down, and then it meets a nib. Now, this nib is a fine nib. You know me, I don't like my fines. I like my broads and like my Western mediums, but this is more like a Japanese fine. It is sort of Fude, and okay, point blank, I've barely used this pen with the original nib. I did for a day, and then I realized I hated it. I've put a Knox broad on this, and the feed keeps up wonderfully with that. Trust me, it's really good. The feed is actually, it looks somewhat like the TWSBI VAX 700R feeds, but not as much. It's kind of like iffy. The nib kind of is inset a little bit, which is, it's okay. I would like to see a bigger nib, but I can't complain with this. It's a Cartridge Converter, and wait, I already said that, didn't I? Okay, if I didn't say it before, it's a Cartridge Converter, and right now it's filled with Lamy Turquoise, and I'm going to show you a writing sample of this right now. Alrighty guys, this is a writing sample for the PenBBS 350 with a fine nib. The ink for today is Lamy Turquoise. It's a very nice shading ink for which this watch does not do justice. And here it is against Hiroshizuku Konpeki. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Hiroshizuku Konpeki, as well as Noodler's Blue Wheel. It's a much truer turquoise than Konpeki, which does have some blue shades to it. Noodler's Blue Wheel is just another unsaturated blue ink which I had with me right now. But let's go to rank sample. Alright, I mean, it's a pretty fine nib, and I tend to not like it so much. But with the Knox broad nib, this pen does actually really well. I had it for maybe a month on me, which is actually saying a lot. It's a steel nib, so I don't expect it to flex as much, but because it is sort of fude, it does give decent line variation, even unflexed. That's unflexed, and this is flexed. With like flowy flex, it does okay. It kind of digs into the paper, but I don't see anyone like actually using this pen for flex. On the wetness scale on the side stroke, because it is sort of fude, it's slightly wet, but not as much. The ink is, Lamy inks are generally on the drier side, except Lamy blue, which is kind of weird for me. But my at least my bottle of Lamy blue isn't very dry. On the up and down stroke, this is significantly wet. It's like almost 4.5 boxes. Let's see how it does with the signature. I'm not very optimistic, but let's just try. Okay, not bad. It did skip on me here a little bit, but it's not that bad. Everywhere else, it gives some line variation, which is nice for me, especially nice for signatures. And I might actually see myself using this nib more often than I did before. But that's the writing sample for the PenBBS 350. I'll see you guys soon. Alright, thanks guys. That's it for me for the PenBBS 350. I hope you liked that. I'll see you guys next time, but until then, stay safe.